Hi, my name is Rita. My future studies will focus more on special education and providing therapeutic care, educational learning, social skills, and other practical skills that will be helpful to children and families. The first thing that I learned was never to call them children with disabilities, rather, exceptional individuals. Some people pursue higher degrees because of the pay scale, credentials, and another notch on their educational belt. I choose to pursue my master's for the following reasons: new research that could lead to improved behavior interventions, cure for diseases, new ways of working with exceptional children and adults, health issues, cognitive issues, and many more. I believe my master's degree in special education and certification in applied behavior analysis allows me the opportunity to attain more knowledge, applying my skills practically, and working with all types of paraprofessionals that share the same common goal. There are four main objectives that I have learned while taking ILT. They are socio-political nature of education, the key aspects of foundational theories, diversity, and how to address diversity. These objectives help shape and continue to inspire ideas for the future. This course has allowed me to understand and to take into consideration that there are many people working in similar professions that will have different training, experiences, ideas, and perspective on both special education and applied behavior analysts. The Individuals with Disability Education Act came up with a student's plan called Individual Education Plan, which goes into details about a child's learning needs and the services that the school will need to provide. It also shows how the individual will be measured as far as what the individual must work on and what areas the individual is doing well. The plans also includes the family's perspective and concerns about their child. The IEP also helps the teacher accommodate and modify the general schoolwork. Using the IEP in the classroom helps the teacher to better understand her students and the type of learning that they would need. As educators, we should observe students' behavior and pay attention to their patterns as close as possible. Students tend to show patterns through their behavior. For an example, the student would not do their work, find something else to do, talk to their peers, and generally just avoid doing their work. This could possibly show that they have a learning disability. Teachers are not the one to make the judgment call, but they can report or suggest to parents and school psychologists what may be going on. Observing students gives the teacher a better perspective and affords the school the opportunity to provide better care for their students. Children with disabilities are often left behind when it comes to their education within the classroom. Not only are they trying to maintain their schoolwork, but they have a difficult time keeping up with their peers socially. There are programs available that caters to the need of exceptional individuals and parents. These schools can help individuals get their education that they need and with the help of their families and other paraprofessionals that work with them. I have found that one of the main reasons parents enroll their children in school is because of the modifications that are made to help the children. It is my understanding that there are some teachers that may not have the training on how to modify their lesson plans to be conducive towards enhancing the performance in their exceptional individuals. Unfortunately, due to the lack of training, the children start to fall behind in their classwork. One of the modifications needed would be for the school to employ resource teachers. The resource teacher is there to work in tandem with the general teacher to create and or modify curriculums, assignments, and tests for exceptional individual students. A friend of mine who is a math resource teacher allowed me to volunteer with her in a class. The student in her class had mild learning disabilities. It took longer for them to solve math problems, and they needed their work explained in great detail. While observing her interaction with the class, I noticed that the students could understand what she was teaching. She showed them different examples and asked questions to ensure her students understood the problem and its resolution. She also had the students role play with her by having them explain what they had just learned before the class moved to the next agenda. The simple act caused me to further my education and the different theories utilized to make an impact into these exceptional students. There are key theories that shapes a student's learning. These theories are called behaviorism, cognitivism, social construction, situated learning, constructionism, and andragogy. The andragogy theory is clearly different from the other theories. It focuses more on the adults and their learning. Noels in 1973 discussed the adult having self-concept, the role of experience, readiness to learn, and orientation to learn. Though the adult already has the skill set, these theory builds upon it and connects new experiences. Constructionism theory is also used as props or tangible items and the ideas to create knowledge of learning. Different discoveries are made, imaginations are being thought up, and the use of hands and technology is put together to create something knowledgeable for others. Situated learning theory means to learn a new skill right there on the spot, combining old and new skills together. Piaget cognitivism focuses on the growth of children's development. The four stages are sensory motor, pre operational, concrete operational, and formal operational. The fifth learning theory is social constructionism by Vygotsky, in which he talks about social interactions and the zone of proximal development. The zone of proximal development has three stages, which is the person can perform the task by themselves, the person needs a guidance to help perform the task, or the person cannot perform the task. And the last learning theory is B.F. Skinner's behaviorism, which he goes into operant and classical conditioning. A person's behavior is learned from their environment, society, and family. Each of the foundational theories play a role in the individual's life and all accumulates into a common goal called life experiences. Individuals have different perspective, traditions when it comes to their education. As educators, it is our responsibility to ensure everyone gets the same social learning. We must also accommodate and assimilate information the children provides and make sure that our curriculum builds upon it. When it comes to the language of diverse, exceptional individual students, we must endeavor to be open minded and know that their language is what makes their cultural identity. Values are viewed differently until there is someone that bridges the different perspective together. The working class and middle class are some ways alike. The educators would only teach their students, which there is nothing wrong with that, but when and how would these students become critical thinkers? How would the students develop the ability to share their ideas with their peers if they are not given the opportunity? Conversely, the affluent professionals and executive elite class encourages their students to share their ideas. One of the key aspects to this is social learning. The social learning involves the child's society, family, and environment. Social learning has a place in the education. Whatever the student sees and hears in their environment, they bring into their social learning. Educators have the access to using the key foundational keys to educate their diverse learners and to build the bridge. In order to effectively address our diverse learners, educators should not be biased to teaching in one way. I believe that all curriculum must be modified to suit the needs of every individual. When it comes to my students, either as a teacher or a therapist, my major concern will be their education. My plan of action is to serve as an observer, imitator, and a model for my students. I want to be an example to my students for them to emulate behaviors and skills that they learn through behavior interventions. Also, I will have a close relationship with the parents, which will be able to paint a bigger picture of learning for the child.